So we're under contract. Congratulations. Now what? The next thing that a buyer is going to have to concern himself with is the due diligence period. There is a certain amount of time specified for due diligence. Typically on a standard contract, you're at about 14 days. Now's the time to make sure that you are going to get the property in the condition that you want, or at least the property that you are expecting to receive. With that being said, there are several inspections that you can get: mold, meth, sewer scope, a radon test, and a home inspection. These items should allow us to see the condition of the property, to understand or have a better understanding of what you're going to be purchasing. As any good home inspection should, you should typically have anywhere between 50 to 75 items on the home inspection that are incorrect or that will require your attention at some point. Home inspections are very useful to give you a honey-do list or a checklist of items that need to be corrected throughout the ownership of your property. What we want to focus on is, are there any issues prior to purchase that are large enough or intimidating enough for you as a homeowner to not be able to handle, or would stop you from being able to move in right away? So for instance, the roof could be shot and it's not going to hold moisture out this coming winter season. That would be a large problem. HVAC problems. These items that are big ticket items, we just need to make sure they're operating correctly. If they are not, then that would be a good time to be able to stop the contract and renegotiate prior to moving forward. So as a buyer, the due diligence period is for you to understand what you're getting into, what you're purchasing, and renegotiate the contract as needed to make sure that you're comfortable with the condition of it. Okay, next is the financing and appraisal deadline. That is typically about 21 days in a normal contract. Could be shorter, could be longer, depending on how aggressive you write it. But that would give you, as Mike noted in the last video, it gives you the opportunity to make sure your finances are in order. So once you're under contract, you also need to be working with the lender. The lender will be reaching out to you for documents needed, tax returns, credit reports, etc. You want to make sure that you are doing absolutely everything that you can to get him the documents required in order to keep things smooth and make sure you get a final clear to close, that there are no more conditions to be made. The lender is ready to deliver the funds to you or to the title office at closing. We call that a clear to close. You want to have that within the time period specified. Your financing and appraisal deadline, it does matter, because if we can't get finances done correctly, if there's a hiccup or if there's something that's withstanding, then we want to be able to stop or renegotiate the deal again as far as getting us further, maybe an extension if we need a week. The appraisal, if maybe came in too low, that gives us the opportunity to stop doing what we're doing and renegotiate the contract, or to cancel it if it's not going to be adequate for what we want, or we can't get the numbers to be comfortable enough for the buyer. Okay, last is the closing deadline. We call it settlement, and you're going to go to the closing table at a title office. In Utah, you do typically split closing, so you never meet the buyer or the seller. But you will go in at an appointed time and you'll sign the documents. You will then be required to wire your down payment or the remaining funds that's required for your cash to close. And the lender should be wiring the money that they have as well to title. This is where you're going to sign everything, verify that everything is true and correct in your application, as well as signing of the deed and various forms that the lender will have you fill out. Then once this is completed and you have wired your funds, then the two title companies will balance their sheets. Once everything is correct, they will release the buyer's funds to the seller's title company. The title company will receive those and then record the deed with the county. So that may be all within a couple of hours. It also may be the next day, right? There is a delay there. So just when you sign the documents doesn't mean we own the house yet. It just means that we have completed our side of the transaction. The sellers would need to complete their side of the transaction. And then once that's completed and the title companies have switched funds and recorded the deed, then the property would be yours. Hopefully that helps, give you a little bit better idea of the flow of once you're under contract as a first-time home buyer and what to expect throughout the process.